So we essentially ended before we took a break around December 23rd of 2019. And we talked about that. Did you continue to hang out with Megan after December 23rd of 2020?
I don't remember any like specific dates, but we hung out a lot, so I would assume so.
Okay. Do you remember learning that, do you remember hearing that Evelyn had been reported missing at some point?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to have to speak up. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, yes.
Okay. And how did you learn that Evelyn was missing?
I found out on Facebook.
Okay. Had Megan told you at any time?
I know.
Okay. All right. I'm going to pass you 2 pages. Just take a look at it and let me know if you recognize it.
Yes, I do recognize it.
Okay, can you tell us what it is?
Messages between me and Megan on January 9th, 2020 at 1:55 a.m.
Okay, and is that a fair and accurate representation of your conversation with Megan on that date?
Yes.
Okay, we'd like to offer that as exhibit number 78. January 9th. Permission to publish?
Go ahead.
Let me try that faster. Okay. So what question do you ask Megan on January 9th of 2020?
When was your court date with Evelyn? I know you said it was January.
And what does she say?
And tomorrow.
And then what do you say?
Where is Evelyn right now? Still with Ethan?
And what does Megan say?
Yeah.
Okay, and what do you say in response?
Also, is Ethan not back doing Army things? I know a lot of people have left for Army stuff already. I just don't understand how he can have custody if he's literally going into the Army.
Okay. And then what does Megan say in response to that?
I don't know. It's retreated. I don't know what he is or isn't doing. He won't speak to me. I talked to him like once on New Year's.
Okay. Is she talking about Ethan?
Yes.
That's your document. Sorry. And ask if you recognize that.
Yes.
Okay. What is it?
Text message from Megan on January 20th, 2020 at 12:35 a.m.
Okay. And is that a fair and accurate representation of that text message that you received from Megan
Yes.
on that date?
Yes.
Your Honor, we'd ask that be made exhibit number 79. Thank you. Permission to publish. On January 20th, 2020, what does Megan tell you in this message?
Went to Bowling Rock today.
To Blowing Rock?
Yeah, Blowing Rock, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm making you work. Okay. Your Honor, may we approach briefly? Just want to make sure. Pass you 2 pages. Same thing. Just take a look and see if you recognize it.
Yeah, I do recognize the text messages.
Okay. And is there a date on those messages?
January 24th, 2020 at 5:51 p.m.
Okay. Is that a fair and accurate representation of a conversation with Megan Boswell on that date?
Yes.
Your Honor, we'd ask that be made exhibit number 80 for the date of January 24th, 2020. Okay. Permission to publish, Your Honor? Okay. What does Megan say to you at 5:51 on January 24th, 2020?
I have big news. Me and Hunter may or may not be expecting a small human. We are. It just sounded more mysterious.
Okay. And then what do you say to Megan?
Speaking of small humans, how's Evelyn doing? I know you said you get to keep her every other week.
And then what does Megan say in response?
She's good. Mean as fuck, though.
Okay. And then what do you say to Megan?
I want to see her. When's the next time you'll have her?
And what does she say?
I'm picking her up next Monday after my appointment.
And then what does she say to you at 6:02 p.m.?
I'll fight Hunter if it's a girl because I want a little boy so bad.
And then what do you say in response?
A little boy would be nice because then you'd have both.
Same thing. Take a look at this and let me know if you recognize it.
Yeah, I do recognize it.
Okay. What is it?
Text messages between me and Megan on January 29th, 2020 at 1:59 a.m.
Okay. Is that a fair and accurate representation of your messages with Megan on that date?
Yes.
Your Honor, we'd ask that be made exhibit number 81. Permission to publish. Okay. What do you ask Megan on January 29th, 2020?
Do you still have Evelyn?
And what is her response?
My grandma does right now because my mom's sick and stuff. I didn't want to bring her around.
Okay, and what do you say in response?
Will you have Evelyn with you? I really miss her little baby face. I bet she's grown so much since I've seen her in like a month.
And then what does Megan say?
Yes.
January 2020. Have you seen Evelyn at all during the month of January?
No.
Did you see Evelyn at all during the month of December of 2019?
No.
Okay. How are you feeling at this point? In January 2020, how are you feeling?
The relevance.
I'm going to ask in a different way, okay? You haven't seen Evelyn in about 2 months at this point. Is that right?
Yeah.
Are you getting worried?
Yeah.
Tell me in your own words why you were getting worried.
Just everything was starting to add up, not seeing the pictures, her being wishy-washy on having Evelyn, and then it just kind of, everything was starting to feel off.
Okay. You say no pictures. What do you mean by that? Were you seeing pictures before?
I mean, it was just she was posting pictures and everything, so you'd obviously see the pictures.
Okay. When you say she was posting pictures, where would you see pictures posted?
Facebook.
Okay. Did that stop at some point?
I don't remember specifics, but I mean, during that time, I obviously didn't see anything.
Okay. Was she continuing to talk about Evelyn?
It seemed like the only time that we would talk about her is when I would ask.
Okay. Did you consider calling DCS?
Yes.
Okay. Why did you not call?
She was such a good friend to me that I didn't want to do that to her. Like, I've gone through similar situations and I know how it affected me, and I didn't want to do that to her.
Okay. Did you continue to try to press her about where Evelyn was?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
What did she tell you?
I mean, it was always an answer. It was either with Ethan or Ethan's grandparents or there was always an answer.
Okay. Actually, one more document. It's 5 pages.
I recognize these.
Okay. Can you tell us what it is?
Text messages on February 22nd, 2020
Okay.
at 2:46 a.m.
Is it a fair and accurate representation of a conversation you had with Megan on February 22nd of 2020?
Yes.
We'd ask that to be made exhibit number 82. Permission to publish. And would these messages have occurred after you found out that Evelyn was missing?
Yes.
Did you say yes?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Okay. What do you say to Megan at 2:46 a.m. on February 22nd?
I just got out of control. Why did you tell me Ethan had her if she's sick? If he's sick, he still hasn't seen her since December. I hope we can watch it now. I'm crying. Just see her. If whoever you said has her in that interview, I hope they bring her back and everything.
Okay. So you said, I'll try to help you a little bit. Okay. You said to her, if whoever you said has her in that interview, I hope they bring her back and everything. And then can you tell me what Megan says in response?
Me too. I just couldn't tell anyone because I was worried the person might run or harm Evelyn or someone else in my family.
Okay. And then you say, I'm just so confused about everything and I don't know what to believe. So just please tell me the truth and be upfront with it because I love Evelyn and as much as you do. And I feel like I deserve the truth. I know you felt you needed to lie to keep Evelyn safe, but I hope you understand where I'm coming from. And what does Megan say in response?
If I could tell you anything, I could, but I was told not to. As soon as I can talk, I promise you'll be the first person I come to.
Okay. That conversation continues. You ask her, do you think Evelyn is okay? Or do you think this person would do something to harm her? I hate not knowing anything because I'm so worried and my mind just goes to the worst. You say, God, that makes me worried because it seems like she's the person that would have had Evelyn. And who are you talking about there? Or do you know?
I'm not too sure.
Okay. If she doesn't have her, then where would she be? I'm hoping the person isn't your mom because I just don't get why she'd take Evelyn and wouldn't let you see her because I never saw her. And then you say, are you and Hunter okay? Because everything he's saying to the news is false. And what does Megan say?
Oh, what do you mean everything he's saying to the news? I got threats to the business and everything.
And then he said y'all weren't serious and that you guys were on and off. You never told me you guys were on and off, and I thought you guys were pretty serious. And what does Megan say?
We were definitely living together and shit, but he did that so people would stop giving him death threats or whatever.
Okay. And you say, are you guys okay though? Is he being a support to you through this, or are you guys not in contact right now? And what does Megan say?
No, we've talked.
Okay. And then you say, I hope everything is okay between the two of you since you've been through a lot and this is a lot. Then you ask her, are you talking about Hunter,
Yes.
ever see Evelyn? I know at the beginning he never saw her because you wouldn't let him. But after that, did he ever get to meet her? You never told me. And what does Megan say?
I'm not getting into that for Hunter's sake.
And then you ask, when is the last time you saw Evelyn? And what does Megan say?
I can't disclose that either.
Okay. And you say the police are saying that the babysitter saw her last on December 10th. Did you see her on the 26th, like in the original Amber Alert? And what does Megan, let me make that smaller. What does Megan say?
I can't disclose that.
Okay. Did Megan ever tell you anything different other than the things we've already talked about? The other things she told you about where Evelyn was. Did she ever tell you anyone else had Evelyn?
No.
Okay. Did you ever ask her about her mom?
Yes. On February 22nd, we ended up hanging out that day. And she told me that Evelyn was with her mom.
Okay. Did she act concerned about that at all?
Not really.
Okay. Was she worried for Evelyn?
I mean, at that point, I just was kind of in my own head about everything, so it was kind of hard to tell what she was feeling because I was just kind of, everything was too much at that point, so it's hard to say.
Okay. Well, I'm asking specifically about when she said Angela, her mom, or Angel, had Evelyn. Did she seem to be scared for Evelyn's safety?
I mean, I don't guess so.
Okay. Okay. It's the last thing I'm going to hand you, okay? I know this is a lot. Okay. So you just mentioned the date of February 22nd, 2020. Did you see Megan in person that day?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recognize what I've just handed you?
Yeah.
Okay. What is it?
It's a receipt from when we stayed at, or no, not when we stayed at Echo Lodge yet.
Okay.
I'm not sure what it is. Okay, it's on February 22nd when I dropped her off at Echo Lodge.
Okay. So you're saying you dropped her off at the Econo Lodge?
Yeah.
Is that the one on Airport Highway?
Yes.
Okay. And whose signature is on that receipt?
Mine.
Okay. So did you, for lack of a better term, did you get a room? You pay for a room for Megan for that night at the Econo Lodge?
Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, we'd offer that as exhibit number 83.
No, sir. Full exhibit 83.
I need that one. I don't need it. Okay. Do you remember why you got a room for Megan that night?
She said that with everything going on, she just wanted to get away.
Okay. Did you stay there with her that night, or did she stay there alone? Or
No, I didn't stay with her. I just dropped her off.
okay. All right. Please answer any questions the defense attorney has for you. Okay.
John, let me approach. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to stop for today. I have to give you certain admonitions every time. What's your name?
My name is Audrey Gibbs.
You solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Sorry.
You're fine.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Been better.
Okay. Just breathe. You'll be fine. You need a minute?
Okay, I'm fine.
All right. You need to just let me know if you need to take a breath, okay?
Okay.
All right. If you would state your name for the record, please.
Yes, it's Audrey Gibbs.
And Miss Gibbs, where do you live?
I live in Kingsport, Tennessee.
All right. Do you know the defendant, Megan Boswell?
Yes.
And how is it that you know Miss Boswell?
We met in 7th grade.
Okay. You known her since then?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
It's been quite a minute. Over 10 years here.
Okay. Did you also attend high school with her?
Freshman year, yeah.
Okay. And where was that?
That was at Central.
Here in Bluntville?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know Miss Boswell's daughter, Evelyn?
Yes.
Were you friends with Miss Boswell after Evelyn was born?
Yes.
Did you ever see her or visit with her?
Quite often, yes.
Okay. When you say quite often, how often are we, how
Almost.
frequently are we talking?
Almost every day. In 2019, we hung out a lot. Megan was one of my closest friends then. We would sometimes take trips together, and, Evelyn was always there with us.
Okay. So that would have been right after Evelyn was born. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How old was Evelyn at the time?
I think, we hung out the whole time. In the summer, I believe she would be 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, something like that. I can't remember her exact age during that time. I just,
Okay. You were seeing her
quite often.
very frequently during that time.
Yeah.
What were your observations as far as Megan and her being a parent to Evelyn?
For the most part, it was all right. There's no complaints there, but there were some things that I noticed. Like sometimes it would be a long time before she would change her diaper, and it'd be like, hey, do you need to change her diaper or anything like that? There was also one time with the car seat. I had noticed that she hadn't buckled her in, and I just mentioned, hey, it's you better buckle in Evelyn and stuff. It's not safe for you to ride around. You could get in a car accident. She could get hurt, and just those two things I noticed. But other than that, not really much else.
She appeared to care for Evelyn.
Yeah,
Love
yeah,
her.
yeah, definitely.
Good mom.
Yeah.
Did you ever babysit for Megan?
No. We were just we would hang out together. We would, either go to the park, or one time we went to the aquarium in Pigeon Forge. We would always just do family friendly things. One time we also tie-dyed together with Evelyn. I made a onesie for my daughter that day because it was before she was born.
At some point in time, do you leave the Tri-Cities area?
Yes. So after my baby shower, I did move to Knoxville with my the father of my child to live with his family at just Knoxville.
Okay. Do you remember when that was?
Yes, it would have been early November.
Of 2019?
Yes.
All right. It's kind of a silly question, but did you have your child?
Yes.
Okay. And when was that?
That was December 9th, 2019.
Not going to forget that date. All right. Did Megan come to see you while you were in the hospital?
Yes, she did with my other best friend Bailey.
Okay. What's Bailey's last name?
Bailey Hawkins.
So the two of them, you were in Knoxville, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so the two of them came together to see you while you were still in the hospital?
Yes, it was right after I'd given birth.
Did Megan have Evelyn with her that day?
No, she didn't.
Okay.
Which would have been the first time I saw her without Evelyn ever.
You trailed off a little bit there at the end. Did you say ever?
Oh, yeah, that would be the first time that I would ever see her without Evelyn. Because every time otherwise we hung out together with Evelyn always.
Okay. She always had Evelyn with her.
Yeah.
Did you notice anything unusual about Megan that day?
Yes. So I was just trying to tell my birthing story because, I kind of had a little bit of a traumatic one. So I was just, telling her and Bailey about that. And Megan's behavior that day was just a little weird. She just kind of had like a weird look in her eyes. And then she just kept saying over and over to me, like, I love you. And just like, I love you. I love you. I love you. And it was just over and over until I would acknowledge that. And, eventually I had to say like, I love you too. But I was trying to tell a story.
So that was not her normal behavior.
No.
Not the normal way you all would interact.
No, normally, we'd have just like a regular old conversation back and forth.
Okay. Did you ask her where Evelyn was?
Yes, I did. I asked her where Evelyn was, and I can't remember who she said she was with, but I just thought that was kind of strange at the time because, normally she couldn't find a babysitter. It's hard for her too.
After her visit, did you communicate or stay in touch with her?
Yes.
Okay. And how was it that you communicated with Megan?
Mainly through Instagram.
Did Megan talk at all about Evelyn?
Well, she wouldn't directly bring her up, but I would ask, about Evelyn, and if Kyrie could meet Evelyn because, they were supposed to be besties.
Okay. Who's Kyrie?
That's my daughter.
Okay. All right. So you said you talked about Evelyn.
Yeah.
Did Megan ever bring her up or talk about her, show any pictures?
She didn't show pictures, but she would answer like, my questions. If I asked about Evelyn, she would just say, she's good, but, she's not with me. She said one time that that Evelyn was with Ethan. Well, actually, that's really the only thing she told me was just that Evelyn was with Ethan.
Okay. And you said that this was after your visit on December the 9th. So
Yes.
do you remember conversations back in January of 2020? Would you have had conversations with her on Instagram at that point in time?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Gibbs, I'm going to hand you a document and ask you if you can identify what's shown in that.
Yes, this is just mine and hers Instagram messages.
Okay. Is that a conversation that you had with her on January the 19th of 2020?
Yes.
All right. Is that a true and accurate depiction of the conversation that you had with her?
Yes.
Judge, I would move to make that exhibit. Sorry. 68.
You get Instagram.
It's Instagram. Yes, Judge. And I'm going to ask to publish that to the jury. All right, Ms. Gibbs. Just for clarification, I noticed at the top it says Maggie May. Is that how you had her, or is that her handle on?
That was her handle on Instagram.
Okay. and the tagline there, Maggie_Wood23.
Wait, sorry, that was her handle. The first part, that was just like her name, how it's shown on Instagram, but the under part's the handle.
Okay.
Sorry.
So that's how her name displays as Maggie May.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And so her part of the conversation there is on the left, yours is on the right. Is that correct? Okay. So on January the 19th, 2020, you got a message from her, WYB. Can you tell us what that stands for those of us who may not know?
Yes, that means what you doing.
Okay. And did you respond to that?
Yes.
And again, you used
This is slang term, sorry.
NMWBU. What does that stand for?
That means not much. What about you?
Okay. And what else did you ask her?
I just said, how's Evelyn? To which she would reply, good. And then, I mentioned you should bring her up here to meet Kyrie, just because, that was one of my biggest things. I just really wanted them to get together.
Okay. And what did she respond to your comment about that?
Yes. She then said, I don't have her right now. Ethan's got her, but we could come tonight if you want us to. Which I was at my aunt's at the time, so that's why I said tonight wouldn't be good. When's the next time you could come? And then she said probably not for another couple weeks, which at that time I would be out of Kingsport because I lived in Knoxville at the time.
Okay. So you were just up here visiting.
Family, yes.
Okay.
And friends.
Okay. All right. Ms. Gibbs, I'm going to hand you a document of sorts and ask if you can identify that.
Yes, this is another conversation between me and her on Instagram.
All right. Was that a conversation that you all had back on January the 24th into the 25th of 2020?
Yes, and also the 26th.
Okay. And was that is that a true and accurate copy of the conversation that you all had there on Instagram?
Yeah.
All right. Judge, I would move to make that Exhibit 69. And ask to publish it to the jury. All right, Ms. Gibbs. So again, Ms. Boswell's portion of the conversation is as we look at on the left part of the screen here on the right side. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So you want to interpret for us again?
Yeah. Okay, so starting off, she says, what are you doing? And then I just said, nothing much. What about you? And then she said, I'm impregnated. And then, am I allowed to use profanity? Okay.
Yeah.
I said, oh shit, for real? And she said, yes. And then I said, that's awesome. Evelyn's going to have a sibling. And then she said, yes.
Okay. All right. Did you continue to have communication with Miss Boswell after that?
I mean, it would have still been kind of spotty, here and there. Just messaging when I could because I was like, a new time mom for the first time, and just kind of going through the newborn stage. But I think I messaged her one more time, well, a couple more times, and then the last message I remember sending her was basically like when everything came out, and I was like, how are you? This is pretty intense.
Okay.
But that was like one of my last messages to her.
All right. Did she ever respond to you
No.
at that point in time? Okay. Ms. Gibbs, when was the last time that you saw Evelyn?
It would have been my baby shower.
Okay. And when was your baby shower?
It would have been October 31st.
2019?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. Okay. And then you left after that and went to.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. If you would answer any questions Mr. Scott has for you.
Okay.
No questions. All right. Ms. Gibbs, thank you for your testimony. Your release from the man history.
Thank you.
State your name.
Caitlin Carter.
Solemnly swear from testimony back here to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Scoot up close to the microphone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just realized I called you Caitlin Jones. You are now Caitlin Carter. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I apologize. Okay, so you told the jury your name. Where do you live?
Kingsport.
Okay. Do you know the defendant, Megan Boswell?
Yes, ma'am.
And how do you know her?
We were friends in college.
Okay. And if you can, I'm going to ask you to maybe pull that microphone just a little bit closer. There you go. Thank you. You were friends in college. When you were in college or when she was in college?
When I was in college.
Okay. And when did you first meet her?
Middle school.
Okay. Did you continue to stay friends from middle school until you were in college?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you reconnect at some point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that was when you were in college, I guess?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So during that time, is that when you met Evelyn?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that means you've met Evelyn in person.
Yes.
Okay. How many times do you think you have been around Evelyn?
4 or 5 times.
Okay. And are those times that when you were hanging out with Megan Boswell
Yes,
as
ma'am.
well? Okay. When you hung out with Megan, was Evelyn usually with her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you ever recall seeing Megan when Evelyn was not with her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when was that?
The end of our friendship.
Okay. Which was when?
The 1st of December.
Okay. So then you're saying you saw Megan without Evelyn the 1st of December.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Prior to that, well, let me rephrase. Before, when you say the 1st of December, do you mean the first day of December or do you mean the first part of December?
The first part.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we were clear on that one. Okay. So prior to the first part of December, do you recall ever seeing the defendant without Evelyn?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you recall going to Chili's with Megan Boswell at one point?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember when that was?
The end of my college semester.
Okay. And do you know when that would have been?
Around the 1st of December.
Okay. Who was there when you went to Chili's that day?
Me, Megan, and Evelyn.
Okay. Anyone else?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you sit at a table or a booth?
Booth.
Okay. And did you sit beside anyone?
No, ma'am.
So Megan and Evelyn were on one side of the table and you were on the other.
Yes, ma'am.
What was your impression of Evelyn that day?
She was dirty, and I could smell her across the table.
Okay. Have you been around babies before?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Was she beyond what a normal dirty baby would be?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Sustain.
You said you've been around other babies. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Based on your personal experience with other babies, did you consider Evelyn dirtier than what your experience was with other children?
Based on my personal opinion, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And can you tell us how? Can you describe it for us?
Her face and hands were dirty, and her clothes were dirty.
Okay. Do you recall when Megan started working at the chicken shack?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you recall if she was dating anyone when she started working at the chicken shack?
Not when she started.
Okay. When did she start dating someone shortly after?
About a week or two after.
Okay. And who was that?
Hunter Wood.
Okay. So around this time, did you notice anything different about the defendant, Megan Boswell?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what you noticed?
She was spending a lot more time with the gentleman and not Evelyn.
Okay. After this time, when she's dating Hunter Wood, did you see Evelyn with Megan Boswell at any time?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you see Hunter with Evelyn at any time?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you have concerns at this point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you talk with other people about it?
I don't believe so.
Okay. What were your concerns?
It was strange that Megan Boswell was not with Evelyn because she was always with Evelyn up until this point.
Okay. Did you notice Megan doing things without Evelyn?
Yes, ma'am.
What types of things?
Usually things that you would take your children, such as vacations, going to the aquarium.
Okay. December. We pass you 2 photographs.
Thank you.
Take a look at those and see if you recognize them.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, can you tell me what it is?
Megan sent me those when her and Hunter and a few other people went to the aquarium.
Okay, and so you got those personally sent to you from Megan.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what is a photograph of?
Megan and Hunter Wood at the aquarium.
Okay, Your Honor, we'd ask that to be made exhibit number 85.
Any objection?
No.
Judge, I would say that these photos are cumulative. They're essentially the same photo. If the court wants to admit them, but I would note they're cumulative.
I think if they're going to be introduced separately, I mean, they should be introduced separately. They shouldn't be introduced as a cumulative.
Okay, you want to do 85 and 86, Your Honor? Permission to publish, Your Honor. Caitlin, is this one of the pictures you received from Megan Boswell? Was it via text?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did she indicate that Evelyn was with her that day?
No, ma'am.
Did she send you any pictures of her with Evelyn that day?
No, ma'am.
Did she seem to be upset at all that day when
No,
she
ma'am.
sent you these pictures? Okay. Did she also send you this photograph from that same day?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell me what the date is that's behind her on the photograph? Can you read that?
On the top,
Yeah.
it says 2019.
Okay. And you may not recall, but if you do you remember when those photographs were sent to you?
I do not recall.
Okay. Would it have been after early December?
Yes, ma'am.
Because it would have been, you said she started dating Hunter 1 to 2 weeks after the beginning of December. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So is it fair to say it was at least 1 to 2 weeks after mid-December?
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. So for mid-December well, let me say this. Prior to Thanksgiving of 2019, did Megan talk a lot about Evelyn?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you see her post a lot about Evelyn?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What about mid-December? Is she still doing that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. At some point, did you ask her where Evelyn was?
Yes.
What did she say?
She said that she was with her father.
Okay. When you say her father, do you know who do you think she was talking about, or who was she talking about?
She was speaking of Ethan.
Okay. Did she say why Evelyn was with Ethan?
Yes, ma'am.
What did she say?
She said that Ethan came home and got emergency custody.
Okay. Did she ever show you any paperwork?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did she ever say why?
Ethan seen photos of Evelyn with a bruise on her head, and he used that.
Okay. And the defendant told you that?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay. So we're going to go back to that. Did Megan say why Ethan had taken emergency custody of Evelyn?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did she say?
She said that Ethan had saw photos of Evelyn with a bruise on her forehead.
Okay. You said she never showed you paperwork of custody.
No, ma'am.
Okay. How many times did she tell you that Evelyn was with Ethan?
A few times.
Okay. Was that in person or via text?
Both.
Okay. So do you remember seeing Megan around Christmas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Where did you see her?
We met at the Pinnacle in Bristol.
Okay. Was Evelyn with her?
No, ma'am.
Did you talk to her about Evelyn?
Yes, ma'am.
What did she say?
She still said that Ethan had her.
Okay. And do you remember Megan getting a phone call while you were talking to her that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know who called her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Who called her?
Her father.
Okay. And we're not going to be able to say what he said to her, but what did Megan say to her father over the phone?
She told her father that she would be getting Evelyn back around the 1st of February.
Okay. During this entire time, did Megan ever seem upset?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever see her cry?
No, ma'am.
Did she seem worried about Evelyn?
No, ma'am.
Did she ever seem concerned about Evelyn's safety?
No, ma'am.
Please answer any questions the defendant has. Okay.
Okay.
Morning, Ms. Jones. My name's Gene Scott. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's Miss Carter.
Oh, Ms. Carter.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I got it wrong. Did it used to be Ms. Jones?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how often were you around Megan, let's say in 2019? Would you consider yourselves close friends during that time period?
Yes, sir.
How often would you see her?
About twice a month.
Twice a month. And you described a meal, I think it was at Applebee's?
Chili's.
Chili's. When was that meal?
Around the 1st of December.
You say around the 1st of December. Can you be more specific? And let me ask you this way. You equated it to your college semester or your earlier testimony.
Mhm.
Had you finished? Had you taken your exams? Were you waiting to take exams? What part of the end of the college semester were you at?
She actually took me out to eat for celebration of finishing my exams.
Okay. So the exams were in December.
Yes, sir.
That's typical, I think, of a college schedule, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So this would have been sometime, say, after the 5th or 6th, maybe?
I would say so.
Okay. Do you know what day of the week it was?
I do not.
Would have been a weekday.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Carter, you described Evelyn as being dirty that day.
Yes, sir.
Had you ever seen Evelyn dirty before?
No, sir.
Did you ever see any signs of abuse?
No, sir.
Did Megan seem like a loving mother to you?
Yes, sir.
Did she seem devoted to Evelyn?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever see her neglect her in any way?
No, sir.
would be fair to say that at some point your friendship with Megan ended.
Yes, sir.
When did that occur?
Around the 1st of January.
And did that have anything to do with Evelyn?
No, sir.
Why did your friendship end?
She lost or misplaced her phone and did not have a way to communicate with me.
Okay, so y'all just quit talking.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Carter, just so we know, your exams, were they were after Thanksgiving?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in 2019, Thanksgiving, I believe, was on the 28th of November. Does that sound right to you?
Yes.
So your exams would have been sometime the first week of December. Monday was the 2nd of December. Does that sound correct?
Yes.
How many days would your exams been?
That whole last week of college.
Okay. So the last day of that week is the 6th of December.
Is that on
That's
Friday?
a Friday.
Okay.
Okay, would that have been the day your exams ended?
Yes.
Is that the day you ate?
I cannot recall.
You said you ate it. Did you eat on the last day of exams or just after the last day of exams?
It was the last day of exams.
Okay, so if the last day of exams were on the 6th, it would have been on the 6th.
I guess I'm gonna ask if he wants to, we need to probably check that schedule so she doesn't get confused on the dates she's talking about.
Judge, can we approach? Ms. Carter, you were certain that the meal was after your exams, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're also certain that the exams were after Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir.
No doubt in your mind?
No, sir.
You have no memory issue with that.
No, sir.
You just can't remember what day in December it would have been.
Yes.
You would agree with me that your exams were definitely in December.
Yes, sir.
And do you know for sure they ended on Friday?
Yes.
Okay. So you would have been the first Friday of December.
It was before Christmas.
Do you think they ended the first week of December?
Maybe the 2nd.
Okay. So they could have ended, the meal could have been no earlier than sometime the first week of December, or maybe even into the 2nd.
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have any difficulty in remembering that whatsoever?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Redirect your honor. Do you remember giving an interview to law enforcement? Caitlin, do you remember the last time that you saw Evelyn?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, when was that?
It was the day we went to Chili's.
Okay. And I know Mr. Scott was throwing a lot of dates out at you. How do you, let me ask it this way. Was that before or after Megan started working at the Chicken Shack?
That was after.
Okay. How long after?
3 or 4 weeks.
Okay. So you think that that was after she had started dating Hunter?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's all the questions I have.
No, sir.
Can she be released from school?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Ms. Carter, thank you for your testimony today. Your position, your opinion.
Thank you, sir.
Sue Whitson.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
I need you to speak up.
Good morning. Okay. Your name is Sue Whitson,
Yes,
and is your last name spelled Whitson?
yes.
Okay. Where do you live, Sue?
And Elizabeth.
Okay. And do you know Gail Kite?
Yes, I do.
Who is Gail Kite to you?
She's my sister.
Okay. And to your knowledge, has your sister taken in foster children through the years?
Yes,
Okay. And was Megan Boswell one of the foster children that came and lived with your sister for a while?
yes,
And were you aware that Megan Boswell had given birth to a child named Evelyn?
yes,
Okay. And were you aware that at some point Megan and Evelyn moved out of Gail's house and got their own place?
yes,
Okay. And were you contacted by Megan to babysit Evelyn?
yes, I was.
Okay. Do you remember how you were contacted by her?
Text message.
Okay. And did you actually babysit Evelyn
Yes,
for her?
yes, I did.
Do you remember how many times?
I think maybe 3 or 4.
Okay. When you babysat, was it in your home or Megan's home?
My home.
Okay. So she would bring Evelyn to you in Elizabethton?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall when you babysat?
I think maybe the last week of November or the first week of December.
Okay. I'll pass you a document. See if you can identify it.
That's Evelyn.
That's Evelyn. And is that a photograph that you took?
Yes, it is.
Okay. When did you take that photograph?
I'm saying maybe about the second day I kept her.
Okay. All right. Is that a fair and accurate representation of what the photograph looked on the day you took it?
Yes.
Okay. We request that be made exhibit number 89.
No objection.
Full exhibit 89.
And permission to publish, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Well, I made it worse.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Usually a lot of
Yeah, doesn't want to do that for me. Okay. Is this the photograph we were just talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so that photograph would have been taken, you said you babysat her last of November to early December.
Yes.
So this would have been taken around that time. Is that
Yes.
right? Okay. And does Evelyn to you appear healthy here?
Pardon.
Was she healthy?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And was she walking?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the last day that you babysat Evelyn?
Pretty much.
Okay. Do you remember what time Megan picked Evelyn up that day?
It was late that night, say maybe 10:30.
Okay. And you may not recall, but do you recall the date?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Did Megan indicate that she needed you to babysit again after that day?
No, she said that she wouldn't need me no more.
Okay. And did she tell you that when she picked Evelyn up, or did she tell you that later?
She told me later.
Okay. So when she picked her up, did you think you were going to be babysitting again?
Yes.
Okay. When did you learn you wouldn't be?
Maybe a couple days later, she got to where she wasn't bringing her.
She just wasn't bringing her?
No.
Okay. Okay. During the days that you watched Evelyn, did you have any concerns?
Yes.
Okay. What concerns did you have?
She had a terrible diaper rash.
Okay. When you say terrible, can you describe it, please?
It was just really like sore looking, had marks through it, maybe scratches. It was just really bad looking.
Okay. Have you kept other children Evelyn's age before?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So you feel like you've got pretty good experience with
Yes.
babies and toddlers?
Yes.
Okay. Did that seem more than the average diaper rash?
Yes.
And how?
It was just, I'd never seen a diaper rash look that bad.
Okay. Did you tell anyone about this?
Yes, I called Casey Kite
Okay.
or Casey Schultz.
Okay. And you won't be able to tell us what Casey said, but what made you tell Casey in particular?
She worked in a doctor's office.
Okay. Okay. When, for the days that you babysat Evelyn, was she clean and when Megan would drop her off?
No.
Okay. Can you tell us what Evelyn was like when she would be dropped off by Megan?
She was dirty. She smelled like urine. I would give her a bath and clean her up.
Okay. And was that every time that you babysat was like
Yes.
that? Okay. What about her clothing? Was her clothing clean?
No, it was dirty.
Okay. What about her face? Was her face clean?
No, it was dirty.
Okay. Pass the document to you. Take a moment to look at it, see if you recognize it.
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
Text between me and Megan.
Okay, what's the date of that?
December the 21st.
2019?
Yes.
Okay. Is that a fair and accurate representation of the conversation between you and Megan on that date?
Yes.
We'd ask that be made exhibit number 90.
Any objection?
No, sir.
Full exhibit 90.
Okay. Permission to publish, Your Honor? Okay. Before I put this up, do you remember discussing with Megan about payment
Yes.
for babysitting? Had Megan paid you prior to this date?
No.
Okay. Why not? Did she say why she wasn't paying you?
She was supposed to be in a custody battle with, I guess, the baby's daddy.
Okay. Did she eventually pay you?
Yes, she
And
did.
how did she pay you?
She put it in the mailbox and sped out.
Okay. You said sped out?
Yeah, sped in the tars.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I'm going to show you this conversation.
Yes.
It's okay. Okay. So it wasn't me. That's okay. Okay. Can you see that okay? Make it a little bit bigger. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. So we've got the date of December 21st, 2019, and you're saying to her, I don't know why you don't want to pay me. I could sure use the money. I'm broke out of gas. Please pay me. I hope I didn't do something to make you mad. And what does Megan say to you?
She said, I'm sorry. My baby's daddy is taking me to court. I guess that's supposed to be a lot of problems lately. I'm on my way. I'll put it in your mailbox.
And then what does she say after that?
Sorry, I've been crying, or I would have stopped and talked. I'm sorry. It took me so long. It just been a process, and he has temporary custody of her. I've not gotten to see her in days.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Sue, please answer any questions that the defense might have for you, okay?
Good morning. My name is Gene Scott. How are you? How well did you know Megan?
Not well at all.
Okay. Did you ever interact with her when she was at your sister's home and was part of
No.
foster care?
No.
So how many times did you meet her?
Maybe 3.
Okay. And the picture you took, you said was the last time you kept Evelyn.
Yes.
When was that?
In,
I realize you may not have the exact date, but you know
in
the month?
December, I think.
Okay. Was it fair to say it was after Thanksgiving?
Yes.
And you remember the day of the week it was?
I'm not sure.
Now, there was some talk, testimony, you said Megan later after that had told you that she wouldn't need you anymore. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you know, was that a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
I'm saying maybe 2 weeks.
Was it up around the time she paid you?
Yes.
She ultimately paid you, I think, for that babysitting in December.
Yes.
So around the 22nd, maybe. Does that ring a bell?
I'm thinking it was maybe the last week.
Up close to Christmas?
First week of December.
That's when you said that, okay.
Oh, that's what I was supposed to. Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Not trying to confuse you, but your testimony was that you last watched her sometime in December. Okay.
Yes.
And then we've seen your text messages here. I think they were, can I withdraw the last exhibit, please? So, December the 21st is when you texted her asking her about the money.
Okay.
So would it have been after that she told you she wouldn't need you any further?
It could have been.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, can we have just a moment?
Yes.
We don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
May she be released.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Judge.
Thank you, Judge. You're Randy Wood, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. And Mr. Wood, where were you living back in 2019?
217 Sandy Point Drive in Blumpville,
All right. You said Blumpville. Was that in Sullivan County?
Sutherland County.
Okay. And just for context, kind of tell us where that's located. Where is
It's
that?
located in Barefoot Landing on the lake.
Okay. Out by the lake out there?
Yes,
Behind
behind the airport.
airport. Okay. All right. Now, we've heard some mention earlier in the trial about Preston Hunter Wood. Is he your son?
Yes, he is.
All right. Now, back in December of 2019, did you open a restaurant here in Blumpville?
I did.
All right. If you would kind of tell us what it was and what you were serving.
The name of it was Hunter T's Chicken Shack. I was the only owner of the place. It was right there on Highway 75.
All right. Where
I sold chicken, roasted chicken.
was it? A sit-down restaurant?
No,
or
it was
drive-thru?
a drive-through, just like Pal's.
All right. And it's over there, right across, kind of from Northeast State.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned you were the only owner. Did you have employees, people that worked for
Yes. Yes.
you? Okay. How many people? How many
Well,
employees?
let's
did
see,
you have?
we interviewed, we hired everybody that filled the application out because usually there are only about half shows up the day you open up. So I probably had about 12 employees.
Okay. And who made the decision as far as who was being hired or not?
I did.
And one of those employees that showed up to apply for a job and work there, did you know Megan Boswell?
I didn't know her till she filled the application out. That's the first time I met her.
Okay. And did she apply for a job with you?
Yes.
And did you hire her?
Yes.
And do you see Miss Boswell sitting in the courtroom here today?
Yes.
If you would point her out and describe what she's
She's sitting
wearing.
right over there with the glasses on.
Judge, for the record, he's identified.
Is that
Good
good?
record, so reflect.
All right. Mr. Wood, do you remember what day you opened?
It was the first Monday in December, and it was the second.
Okay. Second day of December, is that 2019?
Yes.
All right. Was Miss Boswell working that day?
Yes.
And you mentioned you didn't have a whole lot of employees. Who was in charge of making the schedule and deciding?
Jason Fassett made the schedule and everything.
Okay. Was your son Hunter an employee there?
Yes.
All right. What did Hunter do?
He was mainly just an employee.
Okay.
Because Jason sort of run the place when I wasn't there.
All right. So Hunter and Megan worked there as co-workers.
Yes.
Did you work there at the restaurant? Were you there on a regular basis or?
Pretty much so, Yes.
Okay. So you saw Hunter and you saw Megan together at the restaurant? That's a fair
Yes.
statement?
Yes.
All right. Where was your son Hunter living at that time?
He was living with me at that time.
Okay. Your house
Out that lake. Yes.
Okay.
Out there.
Did he have a vehicle that he drove then?
Yes. He had a Ford truck, what he drove.
All right. At some point in time, did you realize that your son Hunter was in a dating relationship with Megan Boswell?
Well, it is a weird situation, to be honest with you, because she got her car repoed one day at the chicken shack. And I made Hunter take her to the doctor that day. And, because she didn't have a ride.
Okay. All right.
So that's how they started running around together, because she didn't have a car.
Okay. So at some point in time, you realize they're dating.
Well, they was together a lot.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You can say dating if you want to, or
All right.
together a lot. Yes.
Okay. And at some point in time, did she come to live at your house?
Well, she didn't have anywhere to go when they repoed the car. And apparently her father, what she said, kicked her out. So I let her come stay, she stayed about 3 nights there. That's all she stayed.
Did Were you aware that she had a small child?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever see Evelyn?
No, never saw the baby.
Okay. She never brought Evelyn to work there with her at the chicken shack?
When I hired her, because one of the questions is, do you have any kids? Because we work around schedules. Because you got a child, you can't work a lot of hours. So I asked her, she said, yes, I have a baby girl. I said, well, do we need to work around your schedule? She said, no, the baby daddy had the child. She said, I can work as many hours you want.
Okay.
And I said, okay.
Did she work a lot of hours?
She did work a lot of hours.
Now, you said she had stayed at your house. Did you ever bring Evelyn over?
The baby never was in my house.
Did she ever bring any high chairs or playpens? Or
No, nothing,
diapers, baby bottles?
nothing.
Okay. Did you ever see your son Hunter around? Evelyn?
No,
How often did you see Hunter at that time?
every day.
Now, your son Hunter, does he still live with you?
No, he started living with his mother, but he's at hospital at the moment.
Okay. He's at a hospital. Where is he in a hospital?
Marion, Virginia.
All right. Is that a mental hospital?
Yes.
How long has he been there?
2 months.
What have you been up there to see him at that facility?
Yes.
What is his mental status this time?
Well, some days he's pretty decent. Other days he don't know who I am.
Would he be able to come into this courtroom and testify?
No.
You mentioned that he'd been there for about 2 months.
Yes.
Had he had mental health problems prior to that?
Yes.
Okay. When did he start having mental health problems?
Well, when he got accused of being a baby killer.
Objection. I'll just draw it. I will draw it.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. If you would answer any questions Mr. Scott has for you.
Mr. Wood, my name is Gene Scott. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing, this?
I'm doing good. Take my reading glasses off. Let's talk about your son. It's Preston Hunter Wood. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. And you said he hadn't had any mental problems until people accused him of being a baby killer.
That's true.
Okay. Since then, he has had quite a few mental problems. Is that
True.
he has been diagnosed as being schizophrenic, suffered hallucinations.
That's probably true. Yes.
Has he been violent towards you or his mother?
No.
Never been violent towards his mother?
Now, as far as I know, we're divorced.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm not there.
And you say that if he were brought into this courtroom, he wouldn't be in his right mind to testify.
That's very true.
Could you describe his state to us a little bit more?
Well, he talks about things you sometimes you don't really know what he's talking about. I mean, I don't know how to put it. It's sad. I mean, this young man was a 4.0 student in school. Now he's, I don't know if he's ever going to function in his life again.
Mm-hmm. Does he hallucinate?
I don't know if he hallucinates, or what you call it. I don't know, the definition of hallucinate. I mean,
Oh. What do you observe when you visit your son?
Well, mainly I just talk about anything that's pleasant.
I understand.
Yeah.
Is what he talk? Is he able to talk with you about things that make sense, or does it not make sense to you? The things he talks about with you, does it make sense always?
No.
Has he talked about Evelyn Boswell?
No.
Are you aware that he has in the past been diagnosed with violent threats, hallucinations? And delusions?
No.
Okay. Would that surprise you if I told you that's the case?
It'd give me a little shocker, yes. Yeah, because I'd never seen it.
So you don't know about that.
I've never seen that before.
Okay, I'll move on. Have you ever seen him be aggressive?
No.
Is there any security measures about as far as when you visit with him that requires him to be restrained or anything?
No.
When you talk to him, does he talk about things that are not real, things that are not there?
Well, he talks about the future sometimes, like maybe taking a cruise or is that nature. Just good stuff.
Never bad stuff.
Never, we don't talk about bad stuff. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wish it was small. Has Hunter ever discussed anyone stealing his thoughts with you?
Pardon me?
Has Hunter ever discussed anyone stealing his thoughts with you?
One more time, okay?
Has Hunter ever told you that someone or something steals his thoughts?
He usually informed me with everything. Yes, talked to me about everything.
So he's told you that some.
Hearsay.
It is hearsay, but
I mean,
it's kind of a unique situation. I'm sorry. Mr. Wood, can you hear me okay?
sometimes I can hear you, but at the very beginning, you go real low and then you get higher.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Let me ask you this. Has Hunter ever talked to you about someone or something stealing his thoughts?
Stealing his thoughts?
Yeah. Been able to read his mind?
No, he's never done that to me.
Are you aware of him ever talking to you about aluminum foil preventing that?
He's said some stuff off the wall stuff, I will say that.
So that wouldn't surprise you.
It probably wouldn't surprise me, no.
Okay. Sir, I've handed you a photograph. Could you identify that photograph?
That is my son standing in front of the Hunter T's Chicken Shack.
You say your son, Hunter
Preston Hunter Wood.
Preston Hunter.
Yes.
Judge, we would offer that as the next exhibit, and I don't think it will fit on the projector to publish to the jury. I'll just ask that it, okay, we'll give it a try.
Sorry. It would be, generally objection.
No objection.
Full exhibit 9-6.
And that's the picture we're showing the jury. That's what you just identified, sir.
Yes.
I have just one moment, Judge. Judge, I may need just a minute. Sir, answer this only if you're aware. Are you
Okay.
aware of anything in his medical history about his thoughts about people or things stealing his thoughts?
I'm not aware of that.
Because you're not aware that it's there.
No.
Because that's all the questions I had. Mr. Wood, thank you for being here.
You agree?
No, Your Honor.
Maybe excused.
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Wood, thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
You're released from your subpoena, sir. You're free to go.
Okay, thank you.
All right, everyone. So now we're going to get into the sentencing and the verdict. And I want to thank you all for clicking on this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, again, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And then also, if you think anyone would like it, please share it with them so that they can enjoy it as well. So let's go ahead and get into the sentencing and the verdict.
All right. Madam Foreperson, did the jury come to a unanimous decision for sentencing on counts 1, 2, and 3?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you would deliver the verdict for count 1.
We, the jury, unanimously agree that the defendant shall be sentenced to imprisonment for life.
And did each member of the jury sign the form? All right. If that is each individual juror's verdict, please raise your right hand. Let the record reflect each juror raise their right hand. In count 2.
We, the jury, unanimously agree that the defendant shall be sentenced to imprisonment for life.
And did each juror sign the verdict form?
Yes, Your Honor.
If that is each individual juror's verdict, please raise your right hand. Record reflect that each juror has raised their right hand. And in both counts 1 and 2, did you find an aggravating circumstance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And in count 3, did you reach a unanimous verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
And if you'll deliver that.
We, the jury, unanimously agree that the defendant shall be sentenced to imprisonment for life.
And did each juror sign the form?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you find an aggravating circumstance?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, if the verdict that's been delivered for count 3 is each individual juror's verdict, please raise your right hand. Let the record reflect that each juror has raised their right hand. General, do you desire an individual poll?
There you go.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
At this time, I propose that we release the jury from this case. Any opposition from the state?
Okay.
Defense?
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your service. If you'll go with the officer. In count 1, the jury of your peers having set your punishment, you'll be sentenced to life imprisonment. In count 2, you'll be sentenced to life imprisonment. In count 3, you'll be sentenced to life imprisonment. We'll have to set this for sentencing hearing where we'll deal with merger, other issues, as well as sentencing in counts 4 through 20. Did she waive the 45 days, Mr. Scott?
She does.
Sentencing in this case for May the 8th.
Judge, that is not good for me. I have a murder trial at Carter County the very next month.
It's not good.
May the 16th.
I expect the Carter County murder trial. We've got 2 weeks blocked off.
May the 23rd.
Yes, sir, I'll be here.
Sentencing will be held May 23rd. Pre-sentence report needs to be filed no later than April the 15th.
Judge, you have May the 22nd. This is the 23rd.
I do.
We'll use that instead.
We can.
Thank you.
Is that good with the state?
Yes, Judge.
All right, May 22nd. We'll say at 1:30.
Yes.
At 1:30 p.m. Report by the Department of Corrections be filed no later than April the 15th. All right. Anything else we need to take up?
Nothing else. to say.
Mr. Horn?
Yes, Judge. I think from this point going forward, since Mr. Scotland's primary counsel in this case, I would make an oral motion to be relieved as co-counsel on behalf of Megan Boswell
All right.
going forward.
You'll be relieved. You were appearing as co-counsel pro bono.
Yes, Your Honor.
The court thanks you for your service.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Court will be recessed till Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. for the next trial.
Thank you, Judge.